There is only one thing stronger than all the armies in the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. A famous quote by Victor Hugo. Greetings everyone, and welcome to our today's second exciting webinar for the final pitch round of MELBU Presents Future Founders League. Our intention is not only to facilitate the participants, but also to dissipate knowledge to everyone of the community. This is me, Gaji MB Ashrafuddin Durjoy, who is currently pursuing his bachelor's degree in business administration from Khulna University. It has been almost a month since the commencement of MELBU's flagship competition, Future Founders League, which received a humongous response from everyone. It brought a wave of revolutionary change in the way the students see entrepreneurship. We'd like to thank our awards partner, International CEPT program at Leipzig University in Germany, for actively supporting MELBU Presents Future Founders League. We'd also like to express our gratitude towards the MELBU partner university, Leipzig University in Germany, Maritime University of Stettin, Khulna University of Engineering and Technology, Jessore Science and Technology University, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Science and Technology University, Northwestern University, Northern University of Business and Technology, Khulna. In continuation of our competition activities, we hereby bring you our final pitch webinar of Future Founders League. In our first webinar, our speakers talked about innovation management, design thinking, business model development. Today, our esteemed pool of speakers will discuss how to design a perfect pitch for your business idea. As we have mentioned earlier, we are also going live from our YouTube channel, so you can also view our webinar from there. So, before starting our webinar, I would like to take some time to introduce our today's honorable speakers who will be conducting today's webinar. First of all, I would like to introduce Mr. Waliduzzaman Khan, Managing Partner and Creative Director of Bitnik Designs. Welcome, sir, who is also an inspiration to all the youngsters and the youth of Bangladesh, and a renowned rising entrepreneur of Bangladesh, who is currently the Director and Head of Design of Bitnik Technology Limited. Moving on to our next speaker, Mr. Philip Friebel. Besides an academician, he is also a research fellow, lecturer, and coach of the CEPT Competence Center at Leipzig University of Germany. Last but not the least, Dr. Maciej Kopizinski, the faculty member of computer science in Białystok University of Technology, Poland. Before starting our webinar, I would like to invite our Bangladesh Consortium lead of MELBU project, Professor Dr. Mohammad Nurnabi sir, who is the Professor of Business Administration Discipline, Khulna University. Sir, I'd like to hand over the speech to you to welcome our guest for today's webinar.
Thank you very much, Ashraf. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to the speakers and the audience who are connected with us. And this is my pleasure that we could arrange some of the real people who may shape up your plan and orientation relating to developing ideas and taking to the startup phase. And as a professor specializing in entrepreneurship area, even I want to be a very keen audience today, because I can talk about entrepreneurship, which I do for my living as well as for my passion, but I never become an entrepreneur. Probably there I have the lackings. And at the same time, when a professor talks, it need not to be a very well managed or very well cut out talk, because professor enjoys kind of liberty in talking, and many times people don't take them seriously. But winning some of the competition, winning funds from the investors, that's not a pretty job like what I do as a professor. So it's a kind of serious job. And our speakers today, I am sure I know them from their work. I'm sure that they can deliver you, which we cannot do it in the school framework, how to really deliver an idea to a group of audience whom you want to win. So better not to stick to the same old professor. Rather, we get back uh, to the people for whom we are waiting, and we don't get them every day. So I welcome again the speakers and the audience as well. So thank you for giving me 5 minutes, and it's a very rare occasion that I finished in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot to Professor Dr. Mohammad Nurunubi for his welcome speech. Now, I would like to introduce our very first speaker, Mr. Waliduzzaman Khan, who, before starting, I would like to invite with a brief introduction of Mr. Waliduzzaman Khan, who is an entrepreneur and the founder of Beatnik, a group of design, tech, and communication agencies situated in Dhaka. He is currently the managing partner and creative director of Beatnik Designs, managing director and creative director of Beatnik Digital Limited, and director and head of design of Beatnik Technology Limited. Mr. Walid is a passionate creative professional with a deep understanding of user experience, advertising communications, and brand design. He also loves speaking about bootstrapping new business ideas. Hence, his session's topic is bootstrapping your idea for the speech. Mr. Walid, sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd like to hand over to you, and you may start your session. Thank you.
Um, okay. Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening to all. So thank you, Ifas, for the kind introduction, and thanks to Professor Dr. Mohammad Nurunobi for inviting me to this session, and also thanks to all the other participants for joining this session. So for today, the topic is about bootstrapping the idea for a pitch. Now, uh, I will try to speak from my own personal experience of starting a business and how we have grown it to the point it is today. So hopefully the participants can get a deep understanding about the challenges and the roadblocks that comes with starting a new business. So the first thing that I would like to talk about is basically having the right attitude. So we need to understand, even though this is a sort of like a business competition or a contest, whenever it comes to actually uh, creating a new business or new business idea or pitching to that investor, it's no longer just an institutional contest. We're talking about real world challenges right now. So we have to be very careful about how realistic our idea is. So before starting to pitch that idea, we need to think about, is it a realistic idea? So it may be very flashy, and it may be very interesting idea, or it may sound very ambitious, but if the idea is not realistic, if there is no real world context to it, it really doesn't go a long way, and it eventually soon fails. So how can we actually uh, create a realistic idea or realistic context for business. So here what we try to do is basically to look at the real world, uh, look at our expertise where we are good at, and we try to find a market where we can sell that for uh, in exchange of money simply. So so it's basically, if we consider a Venn diagram, at one side you have some market opportunities, and other side we have some set of skills or products or service, and uh, we have to try to be in the overlapping section of it. So uh, if if I want to give an example of it, so for example, right now, maybe online delivery business is a very big thing thanks to the current situation of the pandemic right now. So everyone is, there's a need for online product delivery and service. So, and on the other hand, I say I am an entrepreneur who has very deep understanding about how the logistics works or how shipping system works. So there's basically a common ground where my ideas can help solve a problem, solve a existing need. So that idea becomes totally relevant, and we can actually build a product or service uh, on top of it. And now the problem is, we will not get actual opportunity and actual my set of skills and services and products. They might not match properly. For example, let's talk about Hyperloop. Hyperloop is basically a new format of transportation that's being done a lot of research and developments on it in the US and in other companies. But why do we not see Hyperloop services right now? Because there is not currently there's not a market need for it. The current shipping systems or the current transportation systems, for example, airplane, ships, trains, and so on, road transport is good enough to sustain the um, current need for transportation. So having developing a hyperloop system is not a very sustainable idea at this point in time. But in future the situation may change. That situation, of course, the globalization has come to a point where speed and efficiency is everything. So eventually there will be a need for uh, a faster mode of transportation, a cheaper mode of transportation, and that's when the hyperloop system can become commercially viable. This is why actually we see a lot of products and services come into the market uh, after 10 or 20 years after their inception. That means the idea or the technology or the product or service was available 10 years back in time, but it was not a commercially viable product then. So right now, uh, the product or service is viable, so we see a lot of penetration in that type of services. We see a lot of similar products and services. So so then the question arises that um, should we always take 10 years of time to develop a new products or services and to gain market understanding and see track the market for 10 years, then we start our idea? That may be a very sustainable way of building a new business by yourself. But when we're talking about ideas, we always want to look for opportunities that are available currently right now, and opportunity or skills and products and services that are available right now. So at this point, what you can do as a potential entrepreneur is that basically try to do existing things in a better way. So so often we when we talk about startup competition, we always think about billion-dollar ideas. We always think about, I will launch an app or a digital service or a technology that is going to change the world right away. That is actually not realistic, in my opinion. What I would suggest going for is that take an existing idea or take an existing way of doing things and just try to make it slightly better every year, and eventually it will be so helpful to other people that it will by itself will become a very good business. So if we look at the current uh, trend of digital products and services and apps that are gaining billions and billions of users, are they were not built out of the blue. They were not built uh, right away. So most of them started a very small, in a very small scale. For example, Facebook began as a very small social network of students uh, in a university, uh, and Google started off as a very small search engine, but they tried to build on top of that. They tried to uh, refine their services and products over time, and that's how they basically built a very billion-dollar business idea. Now, uh, uh, in context of that, if you think about recent tech products or ideas which gained a billion users right away, for example, if we talk about Snapchat or TikTok, uh, you may ask that these social networks actually grew exponentially. So what's the reason for that? So the reason for that is basically they are building on top of what Facebook did 10 years before that. So Facebook and High Five and earlier social network channels, they actually set the culture of social networks. They actually laid the foundations, and TikTok is just doing social network in a better, it's a more interesting way of doing social networks. That's why they are gaining the social they are gaining the users and the revenue and so on. So that's basically my first point, is having the right attitude. We need to pick the right idea that's commercially viable right now. So any business idea that's not commercially viable, or that there is no future commercial viability in sight, would be very difficult to pull off. It's not. I'm not suggesting that these type of ideas should not be entertained or should not be explored, but these type of ideas actually are very difficult to pull off. So what a more uh, alluring business idea or for an investor is that you show them a new way of doing things, something that existing you are building on top of some existing technology or some existing way of running business, and you are building on top of it, and you are making it better, and that becomes commercially viable in future, and that's when the an investor will be very uh, interested in your business. So if I'm talking from my experience, so when we started Big Big Designs as a design studio back then, 7 years ago, in Bangladeshi market, there was not really a need for design based studio. The market was very small, but so we started off very small. We started doing different types of products and services which were not actually part of our core portfolio, but we still took that type of projects to sustain our company, so that we can do our necessary research and developments in design field. And right now, after 7 years, our core products and services have become commercially viable, so that they can sustain by themselves. So back, 5 years ago, we were at a startup conference. So I asked an angel investor, that what is the best type of company. So he answered me, the best type of startup is the one that doesn't require an external investment. So that's a very strong statement if you think like that. So if you consider your startup to be a human being, a startup that requires external funding is almost like a newborn baby. You have to take care of it. You have to put external resources into it to make it grow. On the other hand, a running business that can sustain itself is almost like an earning adult. So it's always better to be an earning adult and sustain yourself, rather than rely on others money and investment and funding and so on. So even if you take an investment first, you need to move out of it as early as possible. Your business model should not be that I will first take seed funding, then I grow my business to series A funding, then I grow my business to series B funding, and eventually I exit. That should not be your business strategy. That's not how great startups are built. Your startups business should be, I have to I will take seed funding, I will move out of it as early as possible, and I will retain the ownership, and I will maintain the sustain the company with its own revenue and its own profits. So that should be an ideal way of building a sustainable startup. So to build a sustainable startup, that's where I come to my second point, is basically decide what your MVP is. If you have a product or service in mind that you know that you can bring into the market and there's a need for it, you have to consider the absolute minimum scale of it. You bootstrapping literally means going with minimum amount of resources. So you have to cut down your cost. You have to uh, rely on a lot of extra additional resources. So you need to pick and choose carefully what services you are going to provide, or what products you are going to build, because building a product or service or developing a product or service requires a lot of resources. So and marketing for it, and reaching out to clients or reaching out to consumers and selling them to it, that has a lot of cost involved in it. So you have to consider the absolute basic of it, minimum. It's called an MVP, minimum viable product. So with that product, you want to sustain itself to the point where enough revenue comes in so that you can scale up your business. So this bootstrapping phase actually can be very ugly in real life. For example, uh, having no office space, or having no logistical support, or no hardwares and so on, can actually lead to very difficult growing up of a business idea. So where this part it feels rewarding is that you are building it by your own hand. So when uh, you have to be very clever about how you are managing your resources. For example, when we started our business as a design studio, we found ourselves a partner who has an office space that who can rent it to us for minimum amount of money. And so we stayed there for 2.5 years. We started to build our portfolio there. We borrowed old computers from our colleagues or our peers, and we tried to build a studio there. And we built on top of it, and eventually we were our business was large enough to actually move to a proper office with proper facilities. And right now we are staying in that office for the last 4 and 5 years. So that's basically the second point of it. And thirdly, building a business actually requires a lot of resources, and that resource can be in two forms, in my opinion. The first one is, it can be money. With money you can actually grow the business faster, and you can cover up costs. The second resource is time. So you either have to put a lot of time in it, or you have to put a lot of money in it. That's basically the two ingredients of creating a good business. Now if you can have a balance of it, it's even better. If you can put a lot of time, and you have put a lot of money in it, your business will grow properly, considering you have done your due diligence, and you have considered all of your options, and you have invested your resources properly. For example, for us, um, we try to invest as much time as possible, because most of our partners, we came from a very modest financial background, so we did not have a lot of investment, uh, or family investment, or other sort of investment that we can put into the company. So what we try to do is we try to put a lot of money in it. We try to train ourselves using freely online available resources. We opted for open source programs or open source software, which are much more difficult to use at first glance, but it saves you a lot of money. So we use that type of technology and that type of softwares, and we try to build our business on top of it. And eventually, when the cash started flowing in, we tried to manage it as smartly as possible. We only invested on things that are absolutely necessary. We did not invest on anything based on future need, but we always try to prioritize present need first, and then if we have the cash, or if we have the resource for it, we always have to we always went after the future need, and fulfilling our future needs. So that's basically the three things that I think are absolutely necessary for bootstrapping your idea for it. Now, when it comes to pitching your idea to a potential investor, an investor will always prefer an idea which has already sustained itself for some time. So it's always better to go to an investor on the 100th day of your startup rather than going the first day of your startup. For example, I have a business. I have a business idea. Give some money or invest in this idea, and I will build this business XYZ amount in future time. So that type of thing actually is not very attractive to our customers. Investors. So investors do not. Investors, they want to look at real world results and look at proven potential first rather than just promises. Uh, so if it's better to go after 3 months and then ask for investment. That, look, I have built my business for 3 months, I have gone up to this point, I have gained at least 10 customers. Now if you invest your money here, I can grow my customer base from 10 customers to 100 customers. So that's basically the simple math of how I look at business. Now, uh, when we are trying to do bootstrapping a business, or we are trying to grow a startup, we always need to consider the market scenario. As I said, it's not an institutional competition anymore. It's not a PowerPoint presentation anymore that I present in front of a faculty member or a potential judge and get marks from them. That is not the end game here. The end game is to gain that investment, sorry, gain that investment and then grow that business idea. So you always have to uh, look for further opportunities of growing your business. For example, when we started our business as a design studio, we realized that there was not a lot of need for pure graphic design services in the market. The market was not ready to pay a lot of money for it. So what we try to do is to find out different ways how that graphic designing skill set of our team can be sold in different medium. So we realized that digital marketing or online marketing can be a very good outlet, because uh, 7 years back, uh, digital marketing was just taking off in Bangladesh. It was just starting to get very popular. So we shifted our focus from graphics design, and we adapted that idea into digital marketing campaigns and so on, where we can show our creativity in the form of advertising campaigns. And that has actually proven to be very successful. Further down the line, back in 2016, we saw that uh, just throwing creative ideas as a digital marketing campaign is not fully sustainable. The digital marketing scenario is changing a lot. A lot of new technology and new format of analytics is coming in, and we have to adapt to that. So what we did is we built up a in-house technology team, a web developer team and an app development team, who are going to uh, give us IT support in terms of digital marketing campaigns. And that has proven itself to be another good move for us, because we always try to understand the market scenario first and adapt our business accordingly. Right now, all three units have become self-sustainable. Digital marketing wing is growing its own team and doing its own campaigns. The IT team has moved on to work on new technologies like augmented reality and mixed reality and so on. And on the other hand, our graphic design wing is actually uh, getting a lot of benefit from our 7 years of digital marketing practice, where we proved ourselves as a good creative professionals, and now we are getting high-end graphic design works and high-end design projects from different type of clients. So that's how we are trying to grow each of our business. But at the same time, we keep a very close eye on what each unit is doing by itself. So our idea is, instead of uh, one unit supporting another one, we always consider each unit should support itself and then move on to support other units. And that's how we pretty much created an ecosystem of creative agencies that are working together. So this whole system, this whole setup of our three companies it's not like I need to spend 7 years on it or 8 years on it. I can start similar type of company in within 3 months, but that will take a lot of investment. I need to hire some of the top-notch developers, top-notch designers, and top-notch creative professionals in the market who are experienced in this field, and let them build up the company, let them use their expertise to build up the business. But that would have proved us that would have uh, made us a lot of expense. We would have spent a lot of money on it. So what we decided is basically grow our resources in house, sometimes in exchange of good amount of salary, sometimes in exchange of future partnerships or shares in our company. And that's how basically we grew that resource over the last 7 years, and we grew our company like that. So that's basically what my view is on uh, how to bootstrap my business for a for an investment or for an completion. So having the right attitude, get building the most valuable products first, and sustaining the trying to sustain the business by itself for some time, then moving on to uh, for investments for growing your business. So lastly, I would like to say that investments should not build your business. You should build your business as an entrepreneur. You should build your business first. Investment should help it to grow. There should not be any factor of your startup idea or startup business which cannot build itself without external investment. We have seen a lot of failures even in Silicon Valley, where where investors put a lot of money behind an idea without considering that idea, whether the idea was sustainable or not. They were betting on a very risky promise, and that's how basically even big businesses can fail. Even big startups can fail. And secondly, just because your startup has become large or it has grown a lot doesn't mean there's not room for improvement, or you should be very complacent. You should always look at the market scenario, the current challenges, and try to prepare accordingly, so that when the challenges actually becomes critical, you have the resource and expertise to overcome that or to adapt your business. So that uh, that's basically all from my end. So I think there's a question answer session now. So if there's any question that I need to answer, please feel free.
Well, thanks a lot, Walid Bhaiya. I'm pretty sure whoever is watching this session have learned a lot from you, from your insights, industry knowledge, and your personal experiences from your ventures also. So, Bhaiya, I have a question here, and I would like to ask that: do you really think there can be a truly bad idea?
um, the nature of ideas is basically it's contextual. uh, Jumping can be a very good idea when I'm jumping from a tree into water, but it's a very idea if I'm jumping from 10-story high building and onto the ground. So ideas, as I said, ideas are not good or bad. It depends on if that idea has the right context or not. So, for example, investing in face masks may not be a very good idea 5 years from the 5 years ago, but right now it's a very viable idea. So it's not necessarily how good or bad your idea is basically the realistic world where the idea will perform, and you need to look at that.
Yeah, exactly. Idea varies from time to time. What's a bad idea today could be a better idea for tomorrow, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So, with that, I'd like to ask another question. How you see the role of so-called network to validate an idea?
Um,
Did you
are
get
you
it?
talking about network of? people that you know.
Yeah, exactly. Network of people and all the current market networks of the professionals who are working in the same market.
Right. Yeah, networks are very important when it comes to validating your idea. Uh, for example, for our business, our first client was a senior brother from my own institute. So if that client did not trust us with their work, we would not have even taken off. So it's always better to utilize the resources you have, your faculty members, your seniors, your alumni, and any type of part-time job experience that you have, and your colleagues in that field. They are actually helping you out a lot. Even in our industry, we help our other companies or other resources, or we try to build up the industry by ourselves. So having a good network, having a strong relationship with uh, other people actually helps a lot.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Walid Bhai, for conducting your amazing session. It was full of insights and your amazing journey from where you started, from where you're standing now with your amazing experience. And I hope that we'll further meet and we'll also get to hear from you in future also. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Bhai.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks a lot. So with that, we have already ended our first segment. Moving on to our next segment, I would like to welcome our second speaker, Mr. Philip Freebel.
Yes, hello Jirai. Salam alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum assalam, Mr. Philip. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and yeah, thank you for having me here today. I would
Yeah, before starting a session, I would like to I would like to briefly introduce Mr. Philip to our audience. We already know him, but besides, Mr. Philip Freebel is a research fellow, lecturer, and coach at the SEPT Competence Center of the Leipzig University, former International SEPT program in Germany. He is responsible for researching and analyzing complex business issues in the German and international markets. His research primarily focused on innovation management, international knowledge, and business model evaluation. Mr. Freebel is a certified market analyst, and he has also completed the Innovation Readiness Series from the IC2 Institute of the University of Texas at Austin, USA. So his today's session's topic will be delivering a winning pitch. So I'd like to give you the floor, Mr. Philip. You may start now. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Jirai. Thank you for the nice introduction. I would just say hello. My name is Philip, and what I do with my life, I help and support young people, entrepreneurs like you, to bring their ideas on the market and make a living out of it. Yes, so most of all, I want to thank Mr. Khan for this very inspirational speech and to share all the information and his experience with the MELBU community. I would like to thank Professor Nabi and his team, namely Ifas, Rafi, and Durai, for this outstanding organization of the Future Founders League, so our online competition. So we appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much for this. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into the topic. One more thing, I would like to share my screen as a lecturer. Of course, I prepared something for you, and I hope this will work in any second. Yes, I hope you can see my screen I'm sharing right now. So, all right, what is the topic? So, how to deliver a winning speech. Yes, so what I will tell you now in the next, let's say, 20, 25 minutes is, yes, how to structure a pitch As you know, there are different kind of pitches: investor pitch, 3-minute pitch, 1-minute pitch, high concept pitch, investors pitch, and so on and so on. Everything what I will say will be a little bit more universal, generalized. You can use it later on, and I hope you can use it for any kind of speech you are preparing in your life, because you know this is not a one-time task. When you are an entrepreneur, and I think Mr. Khan will agree with me, you will have to pitch 100, 200 times in front of investors, in front of suppliers, etc., etc. So what I will talk about is like the background, so the narration of a pitch. What I hope will help you to deliver a perfect winning pitch. All right, so let me jump into the first slide here. Okay, as you can see, and I hope you can see, here I show you different kind of movies. I hope you are familiar with this. For example, Harry Potter, Star Wars, The Lion King, The Matrix, Spider-Man, etc., etc. And I would like everyone right now just to really think a little bit about what these kind of movies have in common. The most answers, or frequently answers I get to these questions, of course, that yes, they are fictional, or they are blockbusters, they are made in Hollywood, or they are famous actors with this. But of course, the one answer which is most important to this, and I hope everyone agrees, this kind of movies, all of them, what they have in common, they are very, very successful. And now would be the question, actually, why these kind of movies are so successful. And this is maybe, I don't know if you already know, but this is actually a secret sauce Hollywood would not like to share with you, because all these movies have something very specific in common. And I give you 10 more seconds to think for yourself what this might be before I will resolve that, because there's something very special which all these kind of movies have in common. And what is this? They are all of these movies are following the same narrative structure. So as you can see here, so what structure is behind? It's the so-called the hero's journey. This is something this gentleman on the left-hand side discovered, Mr. Joseph Campbell. He was researching thousands of myths from Asia, from Europe, from Africa, and he found out that all these myths, they follow the same structure. No matter which culture, we human beings telling the same story for thousands and thousands of years. And it's the so-called monomyth, or the hero's journey. I will not go now into the hero's journey so much, but I want like you to tell you why I'm telling you this. So in a nutshell, if you're watching Spider-Man or you're watching The Matrix, you're watching actually the same movie, just with different settings and different characters, but they're following the same structure. And why I'm telling you this is that if you want to pitch your idea, I have something similar for you, like a secret sauce or a general approach you can follow to make your pitch successful. Or let's say that your idea gets a voice to the right audience. And when we translate this, the hero journey to a pitch journey for a successful pitch, as you can see, we identified the same structure behind that. So we start always with a problem, we go to the next step, an existing solution, your solution, unique selling point, etc., etc. And what I would like to do is to guide you right now through every and each single point of this, your hero journey for your pitch, and to give a comment about this. And I hope that my information I share with you can be beneficial for your work on your pitch, and how you will pitch the idea. Because, as said, when we compare this narration strategy of movies to a sales pitch or an investor's pitch, it's basically the same. Really think about your pitch as a trailer, as a short movie. And what are the most important ingredients? So first of all, you need a hero. So this an enemy, like in every good story. Maybe not enemy, but a villain. A villain. So this is mostly a problem you're addressing and your competitors. And then, of course, you need some helpers, a scenery, so your team and your marketing, etc. And this we should translate into a good, compelling story of your pitch. Why I'm selling this? Because when you are just sharing information about your business idea, your audience will not memorize them. What people are memorizing is a story, because it follows a similar pattern, the same pattern every time, and this is what will stick in the mind of the audience. And this is what I would like to share with you. Okay, then when you will write your individual pitch for your idea, the first thing you would like to start is the problem. So why you would like to start with a strong problem statement? First of all, it's emotional. You have to awake emotions from the audience, from the investors. Why? Now, first of all, 80% of any investment or sales decision is mostly made by emotions. 20% is the rest of analytical thinking. And to keep the audience attraction, to keep really the attention on the idea, you will have to come with a very, very emotional statement in the beginning. And I tell you why. This has something to do with our brain. So as you can see in the middle, there's a little depiction of a brain, and it's separated in our three brain parts. So the reptile brain or crocodile brain is number one, midbrain, and then the neocortex. Most important for us is the crocodile brain, because this is the first filter where a message has to go through. So when you deliver a problem statement, when you introduce yourself to an audience, this message will go to the crocodile brain. And what this kind of part of your brain is actually doing, it will separate an important information from a boring information. And this means when you introduce yourself and your idea in a way telling, for example, hello, my name is Philip, I'm the CEO of this and this company, and so on, probably your audience will quit listening to you because this is boring. What you want to do is to give a sensitization to this crocodile brain to bring him in some kind of danger. This means to build up a problem statement where your audience, the people, will be focused on this what we're following now. Because when you have a strong problem statement, everybody feels attached to this emotionally, they will keep their attention to this. Okay? So first of all, when you introduce yourself, maybe one other remark. So please avoid boring things. When you go on stage, don't say, as I mentioned, I'm the CTO, I'm the CEO of this and that, I'm working since 15 years for this and this company in this field. Never do that. Try to make a really high concept pitch about yourself, a one-liner, a strong one-liner. For example, sometimes what I do is to say, hello, my name is Philip, and I help people to make money. Very shortly, but everybody should be interested, okay, but how he's doing that? How is he supporting people or his customers making money? Or you can make it a little bit fresh, more funny to say, hello, my name is Philip, and I'm addicted to business since 15 years. Something like this, so to keep the audience attention at the very beginning. And when it comes for the introduction of your pitch, you do not start with your product or any kind of market description in the terms of how big the market is. Start with an emotional problem. So everybody is, you keep the attention. Okay, after doing this, In the second step, so you showed the hell, the living hell for your customer, or for the world, or for the investors, so something what is not working. Now, in the second step, you have to introduce a second part of the problem statement. Actually, you have to show some alternatives which mostly exist on the market, but cannot really solve the problem which exists. So, actually, I'm saying here right now, this is the time where you can start dissing your competitors, but of course in a humble way. Important is, after the problem statement, to show that there are solutions when they are on the market, but why are they not working so well? Because after this, what you're going to do is to come to your solution. And here with your solution, always think about the promised land. And when you design your pitch, always think that any kind of successful speech or pitch always have this architecture of good versus evil, heaven against hell. So always think in these two opposites when you're constructing a speech, because this is what a story makes interesting for the listeners, for the audience. So again, let me sum up. So you have an emotional problem. Your audience should be paying attention to this. You show that the existing solutions are not doing a good job at solving the customer's problem, and now you come with your solution. What is important about when you introduce your product or your service? So first of all, of course, you have to keep it simple. You have to keep in mind, when you have a very fancy technology, people, mostly investors as well, they do not know your product as you do. So keep it as simple as possible and as short as possible, just to let them understand what your solution to this is. Most of all, do not speak rocket science or something in this, okay? Because people do not understand this, and then you are in danger to lose their attention at this point. So keep it very, very simple, and do not invest maybe more than 20, 30 seconds on your own solution, okay? So let's keep a little bit more on the solution part. So most of all, you have to distinguish yourself from the existing solutions on the market, on the alternatives. So of course, you need to tell the audience what your solution is doing, but try to focus on your unique selling point. So what makes you different from the others, and why is this better than the others? And invest maybe 20 seconds about this. And when you've done that, try to end this part of your solution with some kind of high value sum up of this. Here are two examples. I would just very shortly want to point them out. I'm pretty sure we will share the slides afterwards, so you can go through this. So for example, to sum up your idea in the end, so the audience and the investor is aware of what you're doing. There are two, let's say, propositions I would like to share with you. The one would be by Jeffrey Moore. Jeffrey Moore, a very brilliant author of many business books and about pitching as well. And he made this little concept here. So just follow the structure that for your target customer who is in need, who has this kind of problem or opportunity, your or our product in this category help this kind of benefits, unlike the others. So that after you showing your solution to everyone, sum it up in this kind of way that everybody understands what was happening in the last, let's say, 40 seconds of your pitch. All right, another example would be from Steve's Blank. Here it's all about that our company helps, supports this customer doing his job, and so on. Excuse me. So when we will share the slides, please have a look on this. This might help you. Okay, let me sum up. So what we've done so far, and I would say not longer than 60 to 90 seconds, this part I was talking about right now. Let's sum up. You introduce yourself with a one-liner, which is interesting or make people smile. You showed the people the living hell of the customer, an emotional problem. You showed that solutions, alternatives, do not work in this way your customer or the customer wants it. You show the promised land, which is your solution. You use it, your unique selling point. You show what is better than the alternatives, and you sum it up. And after doing this, we are now about 60 seconds to 90 seconds in the pitch. You think about the stage of development. So here, it would be interesting, of course, for the investors or people to know where are you with your idea. And here, basically, when it comes to pitching, two kinds of pitches we can distinguish. Mostly the one with traction, with customer traction already, and without. When you have any kind of customers already, this is the point where you can show. Because you are market ready, you can show proof that you are doing something. But let's say you are more in this concept part, in the prototyping area or something. This is the part where you should show some kind of prototype. Why? Because this shows that you are creative and that you can do things, that you bring your ideas already to life. Okay, not always startups already have customers or already ready product, but here show the investors that you have something physical, something digital, but you can show a little bit of your product. So it's more than an idea. Okay, so it's all about prototyping. But if you already have any kind of customer traction, show here that you have customers already and how they interact with your idea. All right. What is important as the next step after you showed that you have any kind of prototype or traction with the customer? Any kind of investor is of course interested in how you make money with this or how you want to make money with this. So this is about the business model. But again, as a pro tip, do not talk more maybe than 10 or 20 seconds about your business model. When it comes to investors, be quite sure investors, they are the experts, the specialists in business models. We don't have to explain them this here in more detail. Most important is just that you show them that you have a plan, how you will commercialize your idea or how it's commercialized right now. So invest 2-3 lines, 2-3 sentences, not more, about your strategy of commercialization. So as you can see here, there are different ideas. If you go collaboration, licensing, joint venture, or you do it independent. But anyways, not too much time on the business model. Investors will know about, and we'll go deeper with this topic afterwards, probably. All right, and how to finish your pitch. When you finish your pitch, of course, here it is interesting what you want from the crowd, from the audience, from the investors. So always finish your pitch with a request, so that people know what you want from your whole speech. So it's not only that you want to present your idea, you have to make a clear request what you want people to do with this information right now, right? So what you want to do. So if you want a 1-hour talk with an investor afterwards, then say, I would like to talk with someone about 30-45 minutes about my business model. If you need $20,000 euros to bring it on the next stage, say, how much money do you need? Do you need maybe a distribution partner? Tell them. So in the end, tell the people what they have to do with all this information you do, so they are quite sure that you make the right impact of your speech, right? And of course, as I said at the beginning, when you start your pitch, do not so when you introduce yourself with the one-liner, with something maybe funny, something fresh, close it here. Investors, the people want to know why you invest your time in this. To say, okay, so I want to make the world a better place with my idea. I want to be a millionaire in 2 years whatsoever. But show them that how much you care about this to make it happen. So a similar one-liner like at the beginning of your pitch. Okay, I'm almost at the end with my time, I guess. Very shortly, let me sum up this and give you some tips, so recommendations for your pitch. So when you do a pitch, you of course you have to practice this and be prepared. But what you do, you should write the story, the narrative first. And when you are writing this, write more than you need because you can always delete the parts. When you have to deliver, for example, a 3-minute pitch, this is approximately roundabout 390 words in 27 sentences. So keep in mind, write the narrative first, make it strong, make it emotional, and then you can always delete the other parts. But here, with the 390 words, you have more or less the amount of words you can use for a 3-minute pitch. Okay, what is important? Yes, of course, avoid making any commonly heard statements by investors. So do not say things like, we will have first mover advantage, things like that. This is boring. Really try to come up with something new, something fresh, something interesting. Of course, as I said, and this is mostly in regard to your solution, always keep in mind, mostly the people who are listening to you, they don't know they do not have your knowledge about your product or service. They are not so informed in detail, but you are. And people, of course, when they love their baby and so on, they can talk for hours about the smallest details. This is not interested in the pitching part. Of course, you have to show that you're somehow an expert and how you deal with this, but make it as simple for your listeners. Okay, so keep in mind that they don't know your product, so keep it simple and of course fresh. And now I would say thank you very much for all of your attention. I wish every participant, when they will come to the pitches in our Future Founders League, a lot of success. I hope this was somehow helpful for you when you will work on your pitch and on your pitch deck. So keep in mind maybe the recommendation. I hope this is helpful for you. And of course, let me finish with this. Always remember, life's a pitch. Thank you very much for your attention. I think we have the chance now for some Q&A. So please shoot. Thank you very much.
So thanks a lot, Mr. Philip Friebel, for your amazing session. And I was quite amazed by how you explained from a different point of view how we can pitch our ideas in a business presentation. Since I'm also studying in business administration, it was very helpful for me also. So I have a question for you here, Mr. Philip, that what do you think ruins a pitch and we should strongly avoid?
Can you repeat the first part?
Yes. What do you think that ruins a pitch and what should we strongly avoid?
Okay, what you should avoid, like in the end, of course, so first of all, try to be unique, okay? There's a management vocabulary for marketing for everything, the blue oceans and so on. Avoid this. Really try to be unique, individual. And what you have to try to avoid, always think that in the 3 minutes, and when, for example, in our Future Founders Leagues, there will be 10 pitches. So investors, the jury will hear 10 different pitches. Don't shoot a lot of information. People cannot memorize more than 6. And then it's out, and then the brain, your crocodile brain will say, goodbye, this is boring, I don't have nothing to do with this anymore. What you try to do, make a story about your, so always start with your solution and build a story around this. And make it really a story, as I told you. Think about you're the hero. You are going an adventure and you want to take the people with you because this is what they remember, these patterns, and this will make a winning pitch. Secondly, it's not only the story, I would say. Never forget, the investor is not, okay, now I'm using some kind of jargon or statement, but they will buy you. They will invest in you as much as you present a good idea. So we say they invest into the jockey and not the horse. So think about this. So present yourself, keep it always fresh, use some fun, be emotional. This is the most important, I would say, for a winning pitch.
Okay, thanks a lot. There is another question from our audience. They're asking you that how one can present him or her as person during pitch.
As a person,
Yeah,
during the
exactly.
pitch. Yes, then let me repeat. What is, of course, important is, as I said, it's about, of course, you, but what is important? The investors, the audience, they want to see an alpha man or alpha woman. So this means when you present yourself, you have to be really good prepared. My advice here, practice of course, all your pitch you have to practice in front of friends and family until you just can shoot it out of the night. When somebody wakes you at 3 o'clock in the night, AM, you can shoot your 3-minute pitch. This is important, so practice this a lot. Secondly, you have to show your audience that you, of course, an expert about this, but avoid things like I'm a CEO since 15 years. Make a high concept pitch about yourself. Think about, as I said in the beginning, my name is Philip and I'm addicted to business. Something like this, that people have your attention and they can grab all the information in a one-liner because this is your brand, this is your trademark there. Very important is be humble. Be humble when you present. Also, when you want to diss your competitors, be always humble. And yes, and think about that you have to be the alpha person on the stage. So you have to grab the attention.
Wow, that was truly amazing. And last but not the least, thank you for being with us and conducting this amazing session. I hope all the viewers who have attended this session will get a new view how to get themselves prepared for their pitch and also to deliver a better business presentation. Thanks a lot for your session, Mr. Philip.
Okay. Thank you very much, and I hope this was helpful for all of you guys. And I have my fingers crossed for all your presentations in the pitch and in your further life.
Exactly. After this, I hope all of us will do better. So with this, we are now at the ending session of our today's webinar. And to introduce our last speaker, last but not the least, Dr. Maciej Kobzinski. I would like to welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Sorry for keeping you waiting for a long time. So I hope you're doing great now.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So before we start, I'd like to give a brief introduction to our audience about our last speaker, Dr. Maciej, who is the co-founder of 4 companies, Photon Entertainment, RiftCat, Make It, and Anima. He actively raised more than 5 million euros from public and private sources for development of his companies. He is also a researcher and teacher at the Faculty of Computer Science. Dr. Maciej holds a PhD engineering degree in computer science. He is the mentor of many innovative students projects that have succeeded in the international and regional competitions. Dr. Maciej has extensive industry experience in the design, implementation, and testing of software and hardware solutions acquired in many local and international companies. He was involved in numerous research and development projects related to science and industry cooperation with total value exceeding 20 million euros. Dr. Maciej participated in the prestigious Top 500 Innovators program held at the University of California, Berkeley. His session's topic is convincing potential investors of your idea. So I'd like to give you the floor, sir. You may start your session from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, welcome to everyone. I would like to thank to all my preceding speakers for their great presentations. I would like to thank to Professor Nurunabi and his team for the invitation for this great webinar. And during the remaining time, I will try to tell you, basing on some of my personal experiences, how can we try to convince potential investors for our ideas. Let me start the presentation, what will help me a bit in the navigation over the things that I would like to show to you. Okay, so first of all, I will break some rules that were defined by the Philip in a previous speech, because Philip mentioned, do not do too long introduction to yourself when you are doing the pitch. So I hope that Philip will forgive me when I will switch to this slide, and I will make some short introduction about myself, but I'm doing this not to burden myself, but to give you some light related to different paths and different shoes that I have worn in my life. And I hope that I will do this for many next years. So basically, who am I? First of all, I'm an entrepreneur who has successfully started 4 companies, but who has also put down some companies, which I will tell you a bit later. I also have some experiences with R&D projects, many technological projects, where I was both the person who were working on the solution and also the person who was leading this projects from the beginning to the end. I'm also a teacher, so I work at the university since more than 12 years because I like teaching people, I like sharing my knowledge. I'm also the engineer who has more than 10 years of experience cooperating with regional, local and global companies. I have put here some italic like investor. Maybe I'm not the strict investor that I'm putting my money into the projects. I'm more putting my time into the projects, but I have personally worked as the person who helped spending or funding, giving the grants for the projects where total value exceeded 250 millions of euros. I have also taken my role as a mentor of projects, mentor of teams in the innovative contest, and I put this here as the last position, but not but the one that I would like to have some point of going further in my presentation. At the very beginning, I was thinking how to show you this presentation, how to prepare the presentation and give you some well-working recipe for convincing investors into the ideas that you are working on. Unfortunately, I do not have such a recipe. I can share some experiences. I can say what is important, more important, what is less important. But I think that the most valuable part would be sharing my personal experiences related to the projects. I have mentioned that I was a mentor of innovative contests, mentor in terms of the person who has taken part in the Imagine Cup contest held worldwide, organized by the Microsoft from the very beginning to the very end. I have cooperated with many teams, but here I list the most important ones who I had the most successes with. So this is the We Code for Food and Toast and Brains. 2 teams of people which we together took first places in the global contest for the innovative and technological mixed with the business approach contest. So We Code for Food is a nice story because it was 2012 when they have knocked into my door, my university door, and asked me if I want to be their mentor. So I asked, what do you mean by being the mentor? What do you mean? How do you define the role? So they said, nothing, just agree, we will do the rest, you will just sign the papers. So I said, yes, of course, no problem, I can do this, and we have started working on the project. Maybe not we, more they have started on the project. You see there's this girl and 4 guys that are in the center part of the on the picture, and we have made some nice progressions over the ideas which I will present you in a moment. The same case was when I was a bit older, let's say 3 or 4 years later, when the Toasted Brains, another team of the students, my former students, also knocked the same door, asking the same question. But this time I was not the guy who is asking, what is my role in the project? I was more the guy who told them, yes, no problem, and I will try to share my experience that I have got with the previous team. So let's go to the very beginning. To 2012, the We Code for Food team, the guys in the black t-shirt that you have seen on the beginning, they have started working on the CrowdSim project. CrowdSim project was the very sophisticated system that was meant to support the designers of buildings. I'm talking about the architects, on focusing on evacuation of the people. What was the problem that was solved? The problem was the way how the rooms, how the corridors, how the exits, especially emergency exits, are designed to avoid the situation where there is the panic in the people who are flying out of the building, who are going to the nearest exit and trying to get up. Here on this picture on the right, you can see the result of the simulation of the software. So the green dots are the simulation of people that can freely leave the building. The red dots are the people that would probably not survive or will be hurt during the evacuation because there is a lot of strain that is put on them. So in the beginning, I have mentioned to you that I was more the guy that is looking on the side and helping in organizational issues, but then I couldn't stand this role as a viewer, so I was personally engaged and involved in the project where we were thinking about the algorithm that can be used for such simulation. So there was the brilliant idea, very nice prepared technological solution, nice piece of software that would try to simulate such tasks, but generally at the end there was the failure. We had the fail. What was the biggest problem? The biggest problem was weak business layer. Nor me or the team has the feeling that such type of the contest which mix the technology and mix the business will be somehow requested for the business layer in terms of selling, in terms of management, in terms of marketing. And finally, we finished on the 4th place. We tried to implement this project in the future, but unfortunately, the weak business layer from the beginning put the pretty bad light on the whole project. So we canceled this, regretting the time that was spent for this, but having some positive experience that we have learned something new. So this was approach of the young teacher and young students who wanted to do something nice, but they didn't know what are the other important things. Next year, another year of working with the same group of students was the Smart Farm. Smart Farm was the system that could be run on the smartphone, which every one of you possess. And it was try of creating the system for optimizing agricultural machinery routes. For example, when you are collecting the grain for the most effective, most optimized use. and including the fuel economy, especially when we consider the very big farming industries. So the good idea, the nice solution was that the farmer didn't have to spend tens of thousands of euro for buying the sophisticated machines. He just installs the application on his smartphone, and he has the precise solution that will help him transforming his traditional machines into the new ones. So the project was good. We tried to establish the business layer. We have found the potential customers, the farmers, the bigger farmers, smaller farmers in Poland who were very interested in adapting this solution in their next farming year. So we made our homework in terms of preparing the business layer, but we again failed. Why? Because for this project, we have taken the first place in our contest. But then when we have come from the prototype to something more sophisticated, like sharing the solution with the interested customers, we found out that this is technically non-feasible. Why? From the beginning, we have found a scientific article from the very premium journal made by the Japanese scientist who has described some solution for improving the range of the GPS of the mobile devices. So according to their articles, to their research, it was possible, not easy, but possible by implementing the well-described algorithm, well-described by them. We have implemented this algorithm, but find out that it does not work as good as they have described. Of course, it has improved the final result, but generally it was not precise enough to be able to use this on the field. For example, when you are cutting the grass or you are putting the fertilizer on the field. So once again, second time in the row, the same people has filed, but for the different reason. Next year, 2014, the same group of people who had learned their lessons previously, now we have tried to use the virtual reality, what was pretty new in that time, creating the complex 3D modeling engine and creating the phobia therapy support system, which was based on the Oculus Rift first development kits that we have got. So this time we again failed. Why? We have established the clients, we have made a lot of research with the clients, talking with the clients, going to the clients, but on the end, we found out that the customer groups, not only from the Polish point of view, but also the global point of view, was pretty small group, which was also a bit aware of using the technologies in their phobia therapy support. Of course, there were the early adopters, the few percent of the people that would buy this thing without any eye blink, but generally, in the end, we found out that it is not worth continue. Third time in the row, the fail. I will skip a bit in the calendar and go the 4 years later, 2018. Anima was another group of the people, the third team, who was looking for some help for smart and intelligent location-based reminder system. So we are cutting off the calendar as we know usually, but we are going more to the location-based in terms that, for example, if I don't know when I go back to my apartment, but I need some kind of remind that I have to do some task. So when I don't know when I will go back to the apartment, then I would be more interested in being informed that being more informed related to the location, not the time. So we have created and designed the product, the system, which was, of course, made as the prototype, working prototype. We have got the financing, pretty small, but good for the beginning. It was around 20,000 of the 20,000 euro for preparing the first working prototype. But again, it was the fail. Why? This time, the problem was more related to the team which was more short-term goal-oriented by promoting themselves, not trying to overcome the problems that are seen in executing the whole project. So now let me skip a bit in the time. You remember the Phobos. Phobos, as the system for phobia therapy, it was the failure, but the same team has not surrendered and wanted to chase the virtual reality systems. So they have made some reiterations of the project, implemented the plan B, and finally, after implementation of plan C, they have created the system that allows people to do the VR headset simulations, like Oculus Rift, like other dreams, like other solutions that are available on the VR market. By putting your smartphone into the cardboard, $5, $2 cardboard, you put your smartphone inside, install the application, and you can run the full-scale normal working computer games on your gaming PC, and your mobile device is just a rendering device which shows the output and lets you dive into the virtual reality by not making you to buy a 1,000 euro worth VR headset if you just want to check if the VR is for you. So this solution was something what we can consider a success. The company still exists, the company still grows. Now they have more than 500,000 users worldwide from all the continents. Company value estimated is around 2.5 million euro at the moment. And they are working on other products, more focusing on the games, but still developing the rich solution that you have seen on the last slide. Next project, you remember these guys in the blue t-shirts at the beginning? That was the Photon. Photon was the project for making the robot for teaching kids basic of programming. This is also something what survived in terms of the company. How the Photon looks like? Something like this. No, that was the early prototype to check if we can do something working. For the first contest, we have went with this robot. Okay, for us, the group of engineers, it was the very nice-looking robot that was our picks of the design approach. But the people from the audience told us in the backstage, of course, guys, you have very nice idea, but change the design of the project because it looks ugly. So we have taken this in our heart, put another effort into the redesign, and we created something like this. It is a bit nicer, but generally it has a huge problem because first of all, it was big, more than 30 centimeters high. It was not stable because when it moved, it had the tendency to fall out. And we wanted to take this serious, not by redesigning that by ourselves, but after taking all the previous homework, we have started cooperation with the design office. We have taken the feedback from our customer groups and created the robot that looks like this and that is available globally on the market. So we also consider this as the success, 50,000 robots sold worldwide. And the company value is more than 7.5 million euro. Why am I talking this to you in terms of sharing the failures and showing some successes? I'm telling this to you because you are in the similar stage. I hope that we are farther, but I assume that some of you are in the similar stage as I was in the very beginning. So in the very beginning, we're thinking that, is there anything except for the idea? If you have the great idea, so this project will be sold automatically because this is great, because the idea is great. Unfortunately, after all of those fails, we have found out that idea is not everything what is valuable here. First of all, I would like to tell you about the team. You know that being a single person, of course, you can reach the peak, but this is pretty hard, especially on the business field. So you need to have the team that has the wide knowledge, that is covering different competences, like the engineering staff, like the management staff, like the sales staff, like the marketing staff. It's hard to be the alpha and omega and cover all the stuff by yourself. If you have the team, it's much easier to overcome the fails that you probably will have on different stages of your business idea, of your business project. Next, that what you need to have is the passion. Passion in terms of believing in the project, in terms that you can overcome all the problems that you will for sure have during following your business path. So there are the problems with the people that are bored, that want to leave you. There are the problems with raising the funds, because you need to find some money for the expansion, but subsequent investors tells you, sorry, we are not interested, sorry, we think that your idea is bad, sorry, and so on and so on and so on. We had the same situations with the Photon, we have the same situation with the RiftCat, we have the same situation with other projects where we have been denied by different investors, but we believed in our idea, we believed in our projects, and we followed on to find other people who could believe in the same way as we. Another thing that you have to show, convince the investor, is that you have the experience. The best person for the investor is the serial entrepreneur, is the person who has run a lot of companies, but honestly saying, who of us was born as an entrepreneur? No one. You do not born as the entrepreneur. You need to gain this experience when you are going through the path of your life. So if you don't have the experience of running the businesses, you can show your experience related to creating, for example, the societies of the universities. You can show your experiences related to leading some projects group during your studies. So it's not only closed to showing yourself as the entrepreneur, but the person who has taken the lead in some parts of their life. Investors also expect to have some knowledge, the knowledge from your side. If you are dealing, for example, with the sequencing human genome, it is good if you know what is the DNA, what is the human genome at last. So if this is not you as the person who has the deep knowledge, then find someone to the team who has this engineering, who has this scientific knowledge. If you are talking about the skills, if we are talking about the skills, here I'm talking about the skills related to management, I'm talking about the skills related to sales, I'm talking about the skills related to marketing, I'm talking about the skills related to leadership, because we also should consider this as the leadership. So if you are the leader or you have some leaders in your team, this is great, because this is the person who will motivate the team in the moments when the situation is worse, in the moment when you have some kind of problems to overcome when you are working with the project. So the team without the leader is the team that will probably stay in the place. Another thing that is expected from the investor is the commitment and vision. Let's connect this together because I always consider this as having the long-term goal, as having something what we can see as a lighthouse, see for the seaman, so he knows where to go. He has the long-term goal, he has the path that he sees, along the wavy, stormy sea or ocean, and he leads his ship to the lighthouse. So remember to show this in your 5-6 minute speech that you will deliver. Try to implement this as a part of your presentation. Of course, I'm not talking here about the business model because this is clear, about the market analysis, this is clear, but I'm talking about these soft skills that are expected from the investor. Here I would like to also put some voice for that what Philip has mentioned in the beginning, and that what Walid was talking about. So idea description given by the presentation. Remember to create your presentation as being logical, making the logical progression. Each of your slide should be somehow connected with the previous one. Try to avoid the hard language, try to avoid the things that are not understood. Use the words, use the things that are understood, because people will not lose time thinking on what you have just said. Use the validators in both terms, validators as a data sources. If you are showing, for example, market size for the 2019 year, like the number of mobile owners in Bangladesh, try to find the source, try to show the source in your presentation, or be ready to answer the question. Another type of the validators, if you have taken part in other contests, so show the results from your contest. You don't have to be first take placers, winner. You also can take the second, third, fourth place, but it means that someone has validated your idea, and show this. If you have first customers, show this. It will be the validator of your idea that someone else have seen this previously. Remember to not use the things that are not true. Remember to not use the inconsistencies, because if you are putting some lies in your presentation and someone else will find this out, then you are probably failed on the very beginning of your path with the business. Avoid the errors, avoid the mistakes, avoid the typos. If you cannot check your presentation, prepare this without the errors. Try to ask someone else who will not have such problems. So generally, I was talking about the failure at the beginning, but should we look at the failure as something what is bad? In some societies, including the Polish one, when you fail with the business, the company, the family and the friends says you are not good for the business. But let's try to think changing our thinking. So it's okay to fail. It's nothing bad to take the failure for the first time. It's nothing bad to take the failure on the second time, third time, fourth time, because each of that such failure will show you, will learn you the lesson, will give you the experience what to do better next, which path do not follow to not make the same mistake. So remember that it's okay to fail, and also for the investors, it's okay if you show them that you have failed on some previous steps of your business. Try to redefine the problem. If you see the problem, try to redefine this into the challenge. If you see the challenge, not the problem, then you are one step further. And keep going. Do not stop. Do not surround. Do not put the wave flag going upstairs. You remember these guys in the black shirts we called for food? Now they are running the reef cut companies, but only because that they have kept going, that they have not surrendered, and they have tried once again, and once again. Thank you very much for your time. Sorry for extending this bit. And in case of any questions, feel free to contact me.
Well, thanks a ton to Dr. Mache for conducting his amazing session, and trust me, none of us were bored from your session, and rather we are just thinking of your experiences, that failures that you went through, and you just didn't stop, and you worked on it, and then reached to this success at this point. Okay, so Dr. Mache, we have a question for you. Is that how do I convince investors if my idea is in pre-revenue stage without any traction?
This is always the very big problem at the beginning, which we have dealt many times, and that what we found as a, let's say, working part was usually related to looking for the people, looking for the customers who could be somehow interested or could sign some kind of intent letters that they would be interested in your idea as potential customers. That what we also found as valuable was contacting with different institutions, different companies that could support the whole project, because generally most people who were somehow connected with the business on the very beginning, they remember the same problem that they have dealt at the very beginning. So support from the more experienced entrepreneurs, and having such confirmation for being interested in the project, especially from the more recognizable companies, more recognizable makes your project more believable. You remember the validators I have mentioned previously, it could be this case. So without the traction, you also can apply for the funds, but be prepared in terms of having some kind of validators.
Yeah, exactly. I hope who has this question got his answers. Last but not the least, I have one last question for you, Dr. Mache. The question is, do you think there is any specific kind of investor that we should avoid?
I'm sure that you should avoid the investors that are not out of your playground. I'm talking about the projects. Generally, if you want to convince the investor to your idea, the investor should at last understand of that what you are talking about. So try to choose for the first row the investors that are somehow connected with the field of with the area that you are working on with your project. So generally there are not bad investors, good investors. There are the investors that are closer to your area or your stage of development, and the investors that are a bit further, or which you will look later when you have the traction, when you are looking for the second, third, or another round of financing. So generally think about the people who understand what you are talking about.
Yeah, exactly. I absolutely agree with Dr. Mache. It's about entrepreneurship is about how you smartly recover from your failures and move forward, and also choose the right investors at the right time. So thanks a lot, Dr. Mache, and we really loved and enjoyed every bit of your session, and it was amazing to hear from you and your experience. It was so amazing, and we would love to hear more from you, but we are running short of time, and we're almost at the end of our session. So I would like to hereby thank all our uh, session conductors, starting from Walid Bha, then Mr. Philip, and last but not the least, Dr. Mache, and our honorable professor, Dr. Mohammad Nur sir, for being with us. And Mr. Ifaz Ahmed Bhaiya for his backend support and all the technical supports he has been giving throughout this whole session. And for all the finalists, I would like to announce this, that all the finalists will be notified in their registered email, and guidelines for the final pitch will also be emailed to them. So all the teams who have qualified in the previous phase are required to keep track of their emails. A list of finalists will also be published from our MELBU and FFL pages. Thank you very much. With that, this is me, Gaji MD Ashrafuddin. Would like to close today's session. Hope everyone enjoyed today's session, and don't worry if anyone has missed our live webinar. Our webinar will be in our Facebook page. From there, you can also view it and also also check it out from our YouTube channel also. So that's all from me today. Bidding you all goodbye. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining.